Hi Makeda, this is Miss Smith, your English 165 instructor, and I want to offer you feedback on the key sections of the semi-formal report that you've submitted to me, okay? I am not doing this review to grade your work at this point in time, so I'm not looking at grammar and I'm not looking very closely at content. I just want to make sure that you're on the right track, and I want to make sure that there are no glaring plagiarism issues that could derail your report. And so let's take a look at what you've submitted. First of all, I like your headings that you use. They seem to be pretty consistent, and you've done a good job with them. This one looks like it's in, let's just check this. This one is in bold. Your references heading is in bold. Let's see, this one is not in bold, and neither are these in bold. So the one that says references, because we want to be consistent, you want to take that out of bold, okay? So the one at the very bottom down here, remove the bold off of it so that it's consistent with the other headings, okay? Let's go back up to your abstract. Your abstract looked good in terms of the structure. You're doing what I've asked for, and that third paragraph says what you recommend, and that is good. And then with your introduction, your subheadings look good. Your purpose statement section looks really good. And I'm really happy that you have included an in-text citation with your industry background information. Now normally I would say to make this industry background section a little bit thicker, that you do have a pretty sizable graph that you've used here. And so that's fine. You don't need to make it any bigger. And go ahead and put the period on the other side of the in-text citation. Put the period at the very end. The period should be at the very end. And let's see. And I just wonder, did you search hairstylists or cosmetologists? I know your in-text citation says cosmetologist, so if this is the actual term you searched in ONET, then that's fine. But if it should read cosmetologist, then go ahead and switch that so that it's consistent, so that you're not using hairstylist here and cosmetologist here. One thing I would say about your table is that you want to make sure that your numbers are in descending order or ascending order. So since you started with 100, then go down to 99, and then whatever naturally falls after that, 94, 91, right? Put it in order, in descending order, so that the numbers are not skipping around, so that you don't have 63% here and 48% above it. And so just go ahead and order that correctly. Your discussion section, you don't have any subheadings in there. And you know, we love, 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 love our subheadings in professional communication. So go ahead and put in the subheadings so that your reader can see what you're talking about in each of those sections. Okay, so make sure you include appropriate subheadings. Even if you didn't use the ones that I gave you, to make up your own so that you're breaking down what it is that you said. Okay, and you want to make sure that you get to 2 pages in this discussion section without any graphic in the section. So this is a good graphic, but you don't have to have it. Um, Actually, it is not a good graphic, and I'll tell you why. Because remember now, with a pie chart, everything, all of the wedges need to add up to 100%. Okay, and right here you have 78, 63, that's over 100 already, 34, 38. So when you add those numbers up, they do not add up to 100%, they're over 100%. And so remember, with a pie chart, you're looking at pieces of the whole. And so you always want to make sure that that number adds up to 100%. So what I would recommend doing is taking the information from this graph and putting it into paragraph form, putting it into a sentence, and then using the in-text citation, you know, at the end of that paragraph to acknowledge that you've gotten that information from ONET, okay? And so just like you have here with your source cosmetologist, it would be the same thing. But remember, you don't have to have this graphic. What you want to make sure you do have, you want to make sure you have at least 2 pages typed for your discussion section. And as I said to other students, this is a college level report. I know there are a lot of pages in the report, but the core of your report will be this discussion section. So 2 pages is not a lot to ask for. So you want to make sure that you pull enough from that so that you have that 2 page minimum. Now you can also talk a little bit more, and I'm just kind of glancing over what you have. Talk more about what you saw during your shadow, what you experienced, what you saw Mr. Harrison doing. Just kind of incorporate that in the moment type thing, where you're showing, what you experienced while you were there. And that should give you some more room toward getting to, or more space toward getting to that 2 page limit. Okay, so just to recap, let's go ahead and take this graphic out completely. You can put the information from the graphic into paragraph form. You can talk about it, and that'll give you some more room toward getting to those 2 pages. And then you can also talk a little bit more about what you observed in the report, and that'll also help you get to that 2 pages at least. Another thing you can do is incorporate, and maybe you've done it, but incorporate a little bit more about the place where he works, like the focus of the salon where he works. Incorporate more of that so that you're kind of adding that in. So let's go to your references page really quickly. You have a full citation for this personal interview, and this is done correctly. You have your citation for, I guess this is his for his Facebook page, for his shop, and then you have the ONET source. Okay, and so I see that you included an in-text citation for cosmetologists in the introduction. I don't see where you've included an in-text citation in the discussion section, and I don't see where you've included an in-text citation for security check required in the discussion section. That will be a plagiarism issue unless you fix it. And so, make sure in the discussion section that you are including an in-text citation for Harrison and for security. Okay, just like you did with cosmetologist. And so what you can do is wherever you're just talking about To the Bone Barbershop or Mr. Harrison, at the end of those paragraphs, you can just put the in-text citation as Harrison. Okay, whenever you're talking specifically about his shop and how his shop is operated, then you can put that security in-text citation. Okay, just make sure that you have in-text citations for every one of your full sources, so that it's not a plagiarism issue. Otherwise, there would be a plagiarism issue. Okay, if you have questions about that, please let me know. And finally, I would say, or 2 things, I would say that in the very first time you reference him in your discussion section, include his first and last name. Okay, so make sure you include his first and last name here. And finally, you want to make sure your references page is in alphabetical order, so you would be switching these two. Okay? And so that's the feedback I have for you. If you have additional questions, please let me know. I am here to help you, and I want your report to be as solid and as thorough, as good as you can get it, okay? Because this is a big assignment. But I hope you're proud of the work that you've done thus far. You're off to a great start. And if I can answer any questions for you, please let me know, okay? Take care, Makeda.